Hey, RetconRaider here, with special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Matthew Smith, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Eerie V23, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Nathan Welch Jr., RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. As today we wind things down in Dresden. We've got this one last little strip here to explore. And then we'll get our butts back to Dresden, where, as always, we have a slowly building stack of business we need to tend to. Though at the moment, I don't think it's too bad. I think right now we've just got a meeting with Daeran, a meeting with Lady Konomi, and then a meeting with the Wardrobe Council. I suppose there might be some other odds and ends around town we'll also have to tend to, but we'll worry about that once we actually get there. For now, the adventure continues, so let's see what lies ahead. Ah, another blighted treant. Simple enough. And I guess it does make sense, we're just past where we fought those blighted quickwoods. No, that's putting Ember way too far out front. Let's not do that. Oh, and now he's headed right for us. Seize the day. Tainted sap is still a problem, but Kaz passed his save. Nice. Out of charges on our rods, so we'll just keep this simple. Nice. Solid hit. Helpful is now tainted. We can fix the attribute damage fairly easily. It's just a bit of a hassle. And we're done. Though it is a slightly tainted victory. We already treated Helpful, so we can only do Kaz. Helpful will just have to deal. Oh, and that was our last first aid kit. I'll have to make a note to stockpile those next time we're back in Dresden. I keep forgetting those are a thing now. They only just added them alongside the second DLC. It's just one of the new mechanics that happened to filter into the core campaign. Hello there. Mix together calamus and sedge. Wait 5 years, 5 moons, and 5 days, until the serpent ascends the staircase. Have patience, and you will at last behold as the fish soars into the clouds. Sure. The half-elf is still relatively young, but the hardships she has borne have turned her into a crone. Her long hair is gray and tangled, her face is sunken, and her teeth are rotting in her mouth. She hobbles around the petrified tree, trailing her broken fingernails over the carved runes, and mumbling nonsense under her breath. Hey there, hi there. Sorry to interrupt whatever this is, but, who are you? Dragging her gaze away from the runes, she looks at you, and you see a barely there spark of sanity in her glazed eyes. Who am I? I'm... me. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. She focuses again on the pattern of the stone runes. On the 10th day after the winter solstice, break branches of rowan. Do not touch you or ash. Right, that thing you said. That is a very compelling argument. Hey, crazy notion. Why don't I take you somewhere safe, like back to Dresden maybe, away from any insanity-inducing rune trees that might be in the area? Just a thought. No, this is my place, here, where the roads rise up to the sky, the roots intertwine with the winds of the heavens. Here, where truth has turned to stone, life has merged with death. Here. Okay, sure. And I can pretty clearly see the root of the problem, but, given that my only other option here is to just straight up murder you, I guess I will back off and leave you to it. Paying you no mind, the half-elf continues, mumbling disjointed phrases and running her fingers over the petrified bark. Oak does not lie. Elm never tells the truth. Heed not Blackthorn's words, understanding that you will come with time. A huge tree, entirely turned to stone. Its surface reveals ancient runes written in an unknown language. So clearly one of the trees that the druids of Old Sarkris used to inscribe their secrets upon, petrified to preserve them. Oh, hey. That's what the petrified forest is all about, I think. I think it's also obviously pretty clear that this woman here is Myanmar? Myanmar? The former leader of the Order of the Flaming Lance. We met her acolyte back in Canabras a while ago. He mentioned she had gone wandering off in search of secrets of the ancient druids. So I guess we just found out where she ended up. Can't seem to do anything with her now, though. So I guess we'll just have to come back for her later, once someone inevitably comes looking for her. Oh, let's get that Ring of Protection equipped. I sidetracked myself. We'll swap that in on Vex, then pass his hand-me-down to one of the backliners. And we really need to find a better ring for his off-slot. That +1 save on fire effects is nice, but there are some much better options we could have there. There we go. Okay, onward. Can't have much left at this point. Babao. I see. So apparently the blighted treants do not get along with the Babao. Oh, you know, I bet that's a side effect of Sawana's whole thing. The insane and tainted nature spirits driven mad by the abyssal presence. Only these guys jumped into giant trees as opposed to random animals, which does make them slightly more daunting. Ooh, that's some hefty damage resistance. And fairly hefty AC as well. Reflex is its lowest defense. We'll keep that in mind with Ember. Okay, that's about a quarter down. Kaz is tainted. Good, good. He's not paying attention to us just yet. That gives us time to do a bit more whittling. Zorm is now tainted. Tainting for everyone. Oh, hi there. That's slightly problematic. I guess that's what I get. Oh well. Yeah, I just didn't want Helpful to keep stacking attribute damage, so I had her going after the easier targets.
I will resist!
Hey, look at that. It turns out we're fine. Now we just have to clean up the stragglers.
Retreat is not an option.
Thank you, Regil.
Cover me, all right?
Prepare yourself!
And that is that. I thought this one might stump us, but it ended up being fairly painless, aside from the tainting. And given that we're pretty much done here, I think we'll just let that run its course and then fix it on the way out.
Oh, the waiting's never fun.
See? I'm indispensable.
Wisdom cannot be etched in stone. It can only be carried in the heart. Oh yeah, the Heart of Stone. I almost forgot about that. I do have it scribbled here on my notes, just really small in one corner. Padded Armor of Refined Maneuver. +4 padded armor. That also grants a +5 competence bonus on mobility, and a +3 untyped bonus on CMB and CMD. Interesting. That actually might be useful once we get another couple of levels under our belt. I mean, the eventual plan is for Vex to basically have a semi-permanent aspect of the wolf going, just to really go bananas with the whole combat trip routine. And thanks to our Trickster ability, bumping this up to a +4, it's actually almost on par with our Chainmail of Camaraderie. The only real difference right now is that we have a 6 dexterity bonus, which is capped by the Chainmail at 4. But if we get that all the way up to 8, then the padded armor will actually be equal to the Chainmail of Camaraderie. Though I guess we would be giving up that extra +4 damage on every attack, since we do have Outflank, and we're technically always flanking as long as we're riding Kaz. I guess it also does depend on whether the combat maneuver bonus from this item stacks with the boots we saw back in Gesmera's inventory. Because if it does, it might be worth doing. If it doesn't, though, then we can stick with just the boots. I mean, not an immediate concern either way, I suppose. We're not getting Aspect of the Wolf till level 15, I think. Well, howdy there, stranger. The absence of an answer is an answer, too. Yeah, haven't heard that in a while. So what was he looking at? Ah, he's perched right above the self-destructive deer. Intriguing. Not really sure what to make of that. Maybe drawn by Soana's rituals? And we're pretty much done. Let's go check out the Heart of Stone real quick, and then we'll be on our way. Yeah. Subtle, but still pretty distinctive. And that nets us back rank assistance. Whenever the wearer of this amulet is wielding a ranged weapon, and an ally within 30 feet lands an attack of opportunity, the wearer makes a free ranged attack against that same target, once per target. Ooh, that's fun. Especially given that we have kind of started leaning into attacks of opportunity. That would allow a ranged attacker to join in on crit storms, at least in some small fashion. And a ricocheting heavy crossbow. That's a +4 keen and cruel heavy crossbow. And on crit, it also deals regular damage up to 3 additional targets adjacent to the original target. I wonder how that would interact with Mythic Cleaving Shot. Though that said, we only have one crossbow wielder in the party, and that's Daeran. He's not exactly a combat machine, and even on crits, that would only be 6 to 24 damage. That's interesting. I'm not sure we'll use it, but it's interesting. It does make me want to experiment with, like a crossbow-centric range build at some point. We will, however, definitely be using that amulet. And my first thought is to give that to Waljif, since max range on throwing axes is 30 feet anyway. Not to mention, of course, that crit storm. The circumstances of a crit storm would be much more likely to trigger his sneak attack damage as well. Yeah, we'll give that a try. See how that works for us. And with that, I believe we are done with our fun in Winter Sun. Though we will have to come back at some point. At the very least for Gizmera and for Miamir. I think that's her name. Let's go ahead and get ourselves untainted before we head back out. Thank you, Daeran. That should be the bulk of it. Oh, we've still got 2 points unhelpful. We are out of restoration spells, so I guess we'll just pound one of those potions we've been making. Yep, that'll do it. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but nothing springs to mind. Ah, right, yes, we do still have the Brazen Whip. And you know, I was going to grab this on our way out, just to sell. But now that we know we have to come back, it might be a better idea to just leave it here for now. And honestly, 4,000 gold's not all that much. So yeah, we'll pass on it for now. Though we might eventually grab it once we're sure we're done with Winter Sun. And we're back on the map. We've got a demon army incoming. Shai's Shankers are already in place. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. I don't think we need to really fuss with these guys. Not until the day turns over, anyway. I guess we'll just pop back to Dresden. Start clearing some of those queued events. Oh, slightly more than I was expecting. City streets would be Kjar. Okay. Oh, and Krenuk. We should check in with him. And then that's the 2 events I was expecting. Plus the Wardrobe Council. Okay, so not that bad. We'll just start churning through these things until we hit time. Daeran looks a little, the merest trifle, more serious than usual. Vex Godglove, we need to talk. Under strictest confidence. I am going to invite you to not a date. Yes, you heard me correctly, a not a date. If by some chance you imagine you see wine, cushions, and treats laid out before you, you should know that it is merely an optical illusion. Well, I mean, you caught me at a good time, I guess. The only other things on my schedule right now are to meet up with Lady Konomi and spend some time in my closet, so yeah, I cannot think of a better time for us to not have a date. Let's do it. Daeran offers his hand to you, gallantly. Allow me, my lord. The longer he spends alone with you, the more Daeran seems to shed his usual acerbity. His hair is tousled and the ties on his shirt have been loosened. He sits back, looking completely at ease, while his hands are lively and elegantly expressive, punctuating his speech. So, here we are, alone, at this utterly insignificant, tedious business meeting. Would you be so kind as to suggest a conversation starter? We need something boring and practical to talk about. Boring and practical, as you know, is not exactly my forte. I mean, your official title is like my logistics attaché or something, right? We could always talk army logistics. A fine choice. This topic is boring and complex enough that two people who are completely uninterested in each other could spend an evening discussing it. In fact, I do have some understanding of logistics. Sometimes it takes a great deal of effort to get the goods you need shipped from distant parts of Golarion. So get ready to listen to my lecture on the best companies specializing in magical teleportation services. I must alert you in advance, the list is quite long. It consists of around 24 enterprises, with all their terms and conditions, including their pricing policies. I know you're joking, Daeran, but that actually does sound very useful. Daeran's eyes sparkle teasingly. Are you absolutely positive you don't want me to stop now? No. I know we were flirting, but please continue with the teleportation thing. That is fascinating. It's really your own fault for bringing it up. Oh, yes, I did drive myself into this trap. Daeran looks directly into your eyes. My thoughts are all adrift. I guess I shan't be able to maintain a boring conversation. It is beyond me. He moves closer, just a little, and takes your hand. I wonder if I shall come to regret this. You're dangerous. I know it. Oh, look who's talking. Ah, Daeran, you are adorable. Gotta say, he is coming on a lot stronger and faster than I really expected him to, but it is cute. I don't normally get invested in the romance paths in these games, but I do like exploring the story content that a lot of them offer. It is a shame that Aru slow boils her approach so much, though it does make sense thematically given her circumstances, because it ends up with Daeran really kind of overshadowing her here. But I have been told that pursuing one path doesn't really rule out another, at least not until Act 5, so... Come on, D. I think we both know that neither of us has ever been one to shy away from a little danger. Or a lot of danger, if we're being honest here. You're not fooling anyone, not even yourself. So what are you really waiting for? I don't know. A sign from destiny, I suppose. Leaning forward, Daeran first places a gentle kiss on your hand, and then suddenly raises his head and passionately captures your lips with his own. And a tasteful cut to black. I appreciate that. Oh. Inexplicable power lies in the force that draws mortal bodies and souls to each other. If there was a way to measure it and compare it to other forces in the universe, it could prove to be comparable with gravity between the planets. But this force is as fragile as it is mighty. Sometimes its emergence can lead to unexpected and irreversible consequences. Night falls, and with it the commander drifts off into a deep sleep. He dreams. He sees himself from outside his body, himself and Daeran. The two lie next to each other, their hands joined, their breathing slow and deep. The young count's hair gleams with a soft golden glow, almost invisible in the light of day. But in the dark of night, it is unmistakable and bewitching. Then the commander realizes that he is not simply seeing himself from the outside in this dream. He is seeing himself through someone else's eyes. Someone is near. They are watching from the darkness, watching closely but indifferently. Or perhaps the commander can sense only the gaze but not the emotions of the invisible observer. The observer's attention is fixed on the naked bodies. The observer does not move. They make no attempt to turn away or come closer. They simply watch, and watch, and watch. Haru? I feel like this is a circumstance where Vex would not just roll over and keep sleeping. Let's get ourselves up and about. Shall we? Vex strains his will, but all his attempts resemble a weak swimmer thrashing around to stay afloat. The only difference is that water has some substance that can be felt. But this strange vision is unwavering. The invisible observer does not resist, but nor does it leave. It is simply there. Only the night and the feeling of being watched from the darkness. Yeah, let's try that again. Okay. No checks even, so I think this is actually a false option. I think there is no chance we can succeed at that. Alright, so dreaming it is, I guess. Vex lets the strange vision take over, though not by choice. The hours of night drag on, and nothing changes. The couple continues to sleep, exhausted from their not-a-date. Someone is watching. Only at the very break of dawn when Daeran turns over with a slight sigh, slowly coming up to wakefulness. Does the dream loosen its grip? Mildly disconcerting. Oh, it was just helpful all along, of course. Always standing there being helpful. Thanks, helpful. Or, it could be the Eldritch Abomination hiding in Daeran's head. I guess that's also a distinct possibility. But I'm going to choose to believe the helpful thing for now. You know what I've been thinking about? Daeran is battling his tousled hair, trying to make it look at least slightly tidy. Perhaps this crusade isn't so bad after all. At least, I feel much happier now than I did back in my hedonistic days in Canabras. What a horrible thought. I feel like I'm betraying my ideals just saying it. Yeah, I hear you. You know, Daeran, I had a dream last night about us. Indeed, Daeran smiles. I'll bet it was something rather tender. Or perhaps something exhilarating. I mean, I guess exhilarating would be a word for it. It was as if there was some great, dangerous force just kind of looming over us, and but I was there, ready to help you fight it, I guess? I'm sorry, I guess I don't know if any of this is making sense. Daeran is watching you with a slightly surprised look on his face. A spark of understanding flickers in his eyes for a moment and disappears. Finally, he smiles gracefully. How courteous of you to guard me, even in slumber. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Alright, D, It was nice just chilling out and relaxing for a while. I hope we can find time to not date more often in the future. Well, I can't promise that one day I shan't run away to Kalesh with a gang of handsome smugglers. But until that day comes, I am at your full disposal. Daeran shoots you a teasing smile. It's actually really, really nice to see Daeran just being pleasant. I mean, I am happy for the guy. Alright, buddy. It's been an experience, but I'd better get back to it. See you around, okay? Of course. If you miss me, you know where to find me. Yes, and here we go. Commander, it is time for you to play a more prominent role in Mendev's politics. Fortunately, the ideal opportunity has just presented itself. A conflict is brewing in the capital. A clique of aristocrats displeased with the Royal Council is scheming against Her Majesty's loyal servants. It's the usual power struggle. Something of this sort occurs every couple of years in any civilized society. Your entrance on the political stage is long overdue. Given that your opinion in Mendev is outstandingly well respected, the Royal Council has decided to make use of it. They are expecting you to denounce publicly the nobles' attempts to challenge their rule. I suggest we publicly address Her Majesty and claim that we're being drawn into an intrigue. Let the Queen know that we're loyal only to her, not to any of her servants or subjects. Daeran? Sounds like we're not the only ones bored of the Royal Council. Let us support the disgruntled nobles, and Cousin Galfrey's advisors will have too much on their plate to worry about us. I'd say we don't get involved in someone else's squabble. And just to make it clear, we'll write a public statement to the people of Mendev that will have the commander plainly say, "Your bickering is not my problem. Leave me alone." Both the council and the aristocrats want to stop us supporting their opponent, right? Well, let's just get a payoff from both for not messing with their business. That way we come out with a little something-something and we don't ruffle anyone's feathers. Gotta say, that one right there is the one I immediately find the most appealing. But, I suppose we should go through the motions and look at what the actual effects of all these choices might be. It does ultimately just boil down to picking one bonus over another. So why exactly am I getting dragged into this stuff? I mean, the folks back in Mendev know that I'm busy winning their crusade for them, right? You are a part of those intrigues, whether you want it or not. Political influence is an unavoidable part of your position. In the hands of Mendev, you're a priceless tool, and the Royal Council won't pass up a single opportunity to use you for the good of the nation. Gosh, thanks. Your bribes have convinced the civil servants in the capital that you're a reasonable business partner. I admit it, it was a smart play. They're no longer afraid of you. They see you as their ally. And you can benefit from it. Oh, that's interesting. So she's actually acknowledging that my choice earlier was correct. Alright, I get it. Let's hear our options again. I do hope that everyone in this room is aware of the potential benefit of a good relationship with the Royal Council. Less pushback on the whole council thing too, that's fun. Okay, So, you're up. Going straight to Galfrey will remind everyone of the proper behavior of the true servants of the crown. Galfrey is our sovereign, leader of the crusade, and the protector of Mendev. In the hour when all of her subjects have abandoned their commitments and descended into petty squabbles, we should refresh their memory on the meaning of loyalty and duty. And the Queen, I am sure, will appreciate our endeavors. The title of Her Majesty's Good Boy is almost yours, Sociel. Keep this up and you'll earn yourself a tasty treat. I mean, slightly harsh, but Yeah, I don't think sucking up to the Queen is really Vex's style. But Daeran, you're suggesting we back the nobles, right? Isn't that exactly the opposite of what the Royal Council wants? Like you have any love for the Royal Council. If we support the aristocracy, it will cause a power struggle between them and the Council, and everyone will leave us be. Besides, the nobility has access to forces that are very much comparable to those of Galfrey's advisors, and we could certainly use those forces. I would not recommend it. Count Horrende is simply entertaining himself by turning the Royal Council against you. I mean, I don't know about that. Daeran is actually relatively smart from time to time about certain things. And of course he is also a feckless aristocrat himself, and one of my staunchest allies. I feel like that gives him some unique insight here. Lan, you wanted us to just refuse to participate. I appreciate that, but how exactly would we benefit from that? Like a true caveman, I believe in naive fairy tales. For example, I believe that the nobility and the members of the Royal Council still have a shred of conscience left. If people look at them and say, "Stop the infighting," who knows? Maybe it'll work on someone? And if not, well, at least we can count on the support of the common folk. Ha! That part about conscience was a knee slapper, and the whole common folk support thing was pretty out there, too. We've got nobles and the crown feeding us resources, and it's still not enough. How are we going to wage war on chump change from bakers and grocers? A valid point, which I imagine is why you want us to soak both sides for non-interference fees. It does sound appealing. Tell me more about that. So how these things work on the street, right? Smaller gangs split up the territory, shake down the shopkeepers, and give a cut to the top dog, so that they sit tight without muscling in on the smaller gang's business. Because if the top dog is unhappy with the cut and hits the streets, it's a turf war, and everyone loses a whole lot more. So we'll do the same. The nobles don't want us to support the Royal Council. The Council is scared of us backing up the nobles. Make them take out their wallets and send us lots of troops, and we'll just sit tight and kill demons without worrying about their games. But if we run out of troops, we'll drop by the capital for one heck of a turf war. Except we're not a gang, and the commander was given power to wage a holy war, not to rob shopkeepers and terrorize townsfolk. I mean, I'm robbing cultists and terrorizing demons. I feel like that's a pretty fine distinction. Alright, Foxface, you're up. Make it good, and I might actually consider this. What do we get if we help the Royal Council? Spoken like a true politician, Commander. Very well, let us talk price. Lady Konomi looks at you with a smug, somewhat predatory smile. Immediate step in the wrong direction, but continue. I can guarantee you that in return for your loyalty, the Royal Council will ensure the stability of equipment deliveries in the future. Quite convenient, don't you think? Having no one twisting your arm with threats of supply shortages? She glances at you with an obvious hint. And you lost me. Man, you are not good at this, Lady Konomi. You are not great at adapting on the fly. Veiled threats and ultimatums are the quickest way to get me to do the exact opposite of what you want me to do. Furthermore, the Royal Council may review Dresden's reinforcement plan. Mendev has plenty of garrisons holding an excess of troops. You need them more than they do. Yeah, you really should have led with that part. Today we're pacifying recalcitrant nobles, and then what? Stamping out peasant revolts? I must have dozed off when the priest of Iomade was mentioning the command meant, fight demons, but never forget about the whims of the powerful. Yeah, that's what happens when you set the precedent that people can just scare you into obedience. Alright, I think we're good. In that case, I trust that you will make a wise decision that will delight the Royal Council. Yeah, no, probably not. But let's have a look at the actual mechanics here. Okay, so it looks like it's a one-time bonus of specific troop types, and backing Galfrey will give us paladins and champions. We could use the champions, but the paladins are pretty much useless for us, since we will not be recruiting them regularly. Whereas backing the noble houses will get us cuirassiers? Heavily armored cavalry. I do like that. And then marksmen, which I'm already considering going for anyway. Those are the sharpshooters that inflict incredibly high damage, though they are, of course, even more frail than the normal archers. But that has worked for us thus far, so that's a maybe. Then Lan is suggesting that we just focus on the people. Oof, which does not give us good rewards. That gives us light cavalry and shield bearers, neither of which I'm a fan of. Yeah, I'm thinking we'll pass on that one. And Waljif's suggestion would get us Hedge Knights and Headhunters. That's interesting. I believe those are both units that are locked to Greyboar's suggestions, and we don't have him on our council yet. Hedge Knights are essentially slightly less armored, but slightly stronger than the cuirassiers. And then Headhunters are slightly weaker, but slightly tougher than sharpshooters. And then Lady Konomi's thing, of course. Let's see what that would get us. Oh, wow, yeah. That's a hard pass. I am not a fan of slingers or conscripts. They're cheap, expendable units with very low damage output. That's pretty much the opposite of what I've been doing thus far. Plus, you know, there's just the messy narrative that you're sending thousands of untrained garbage troops into combat, as opposed to an elite few who actually get the job done. Alright, well, that means it's really either Daeran or Waljif, and between the two, I'm leaning more towards marksmen than headhunters, I think. If rangers were on the list, I'd consider that too, but apparently that's just not one of the options. I believe the next military council will force us to choose what we want to upgrade our archers into. And I am thinking that will be marksmen. And this will give us a nice quick boost to our ranks for the marksmen. I'm a little less certain about cuirassiers. I'll have to review their stats a bit more closely as we get towards having to select our specialty cavalry. But it couldn't hurt to have some around. Yeah. Alright, Daeran, go ahead and get in touch with your friends. I guess we're backing the nobility. Isn't this wonderful? The Royal Council will get free entertainment, and we will get powerful new friends. I'm sure that the troops they'll send us will be equipped better than the recruits we've received so far. This meeting is adjourned, but I'm certain that the crusade will soon require another decision from the Diplomatic Council. And before that happens, Commander, I ask that you consider whether or not it's worth losing the Royal Council as an ally. What, are they going to go start their own new, better 6th Crusade? I think we'll be okay. And with that, we are done with our most immediate business. We are past time, and my throat is starting to get a bit worn down, so I feel like this is a good place to call it. We will hit the pause button for now. I will take care of our off-screen bookkeeping, sell off our vendor trash, and put together a quick little list of the various other things we need to tend to while we're here in Dresden. Off the top of my head, I think that's just the Wardrobe Council, passing off some bad news to Kiar, and checking in with Krenuk. But maybe I'm overlooking something. And then after that, I think it's about time we start getting ourselves geared up for a dragon hunt. You know, another one. This one's probably slightly bigger. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official websites. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
See? I'm indispensable.